Hey loves, so I wanted to just send a hopefully quick video that would discuss some of the things that we've been talking about, and I'm offering this video as a foundation for continued discussion. We have to come together, I think, if we want to accomplish our goal, which is to make sure that there is a strong and solid, people-oriented president in the White House, that we need to be working together, we need to be listening to each other, we need to really be open to discussion, we need to come up with a strategy that we can all really unify around. So there are a few things that we've been talking about, and I want to first talk about the things that I think that we should either stop talking about or that we should table. And the first one is the potential for Bernie Sanders to run as an independent candidate. Everything that I have seen, all of the research that people have brought to me and that I've done myself, indicates that Bernie cannot really run as an independent candidate any longer. You have to run as an independent in various states, and the rules for each state differ, and this time and schedule for the registration deadlines is differing from one state to the next. There are deadlines that have already passed, and Bernie is not, we don't want Bernie to step out of the race before the convention, and so more and more deadlines are going to pass. And so certainly he can't have any integrity around completing and applying to be registered as an independent while he's still running as a Democratic candidate. So the independent possibility, I loved the idea of Bernie running and winning as an independent candidate, but that really doesn't seem to be possible. And so unless we can find evidence that what I'm sharing with you isn't true, I think that we should be responsible around only discussing things that are possible and really discouraging people from continuing to believe that anything that we can't do is something that we should be talking about and potentially strategizing towards. The other thing is the potential of Bernie Sanders being a write-in candidate. That does seem to be a viable possibility. However, that's not something we need to worry about or think about right now, because we are still focusing on the primary election, which is not over until the end of July. So I think that we should table that discussion and talk about it again only if Bernie does not end up being the Democratic nominee. I still see the strong possibility of him being the Democratic nominee, and then a lot of these other things don't have relevance anymore. And even as it relates to whether he should run as a third party candidate or whether we should support him as a write-in candidate. So what that leaves for us to talk about are two things that I'm aware of, and please share other ideas if you have them. One thing that I think we should really do, and I really love the suggestion from Monica Love, is really begin to push and encourage Bernie to announce his vice presidential pick. And I like the Tulsi Gabbard, Nina Turner ideas. They both are really strong, incredible women. They have been voicing their strong support of Bernie all along, and I think that they would really just fire up the process, and either one of them would be strong choices for VP, and the other would be also an ideal possibility, a good possibility for a Secretary of State. But I think that he should, hopefully he's already begun talking with these two women. Having a woman choice for VP would be great. And as Monica Love mentioned, having a person of color and women who are such strong and awesome women who would be a serious voice for the American people would be really empowering for all of us. So I really like the idea of him announcing his VP pick, but I really, really love the suggestions of those two women. Additionally, I want to talk about the Go Green June 19 concept. So the primary purpose of the Go Green June 19 purpose is still to put pressure on the DNC around Bernie Sanders' candidacy for the Democratic nomination. It is not about the Green Party per se at this stage. It is really about the Democratic Party and about our insistence that Bernie is the nominee and is our candidate for the general election. So the idea is that if we move, as so many millions of us move to the Green Party, that we will be showing the the reality of what Bernie or bust is. It's not just a social media phenomenon. It's a real world phenomenon. If Bernie is not the candidate, the Democrats are going to lose. And that means that Trump will become the president. And we don't want that either. We don't want Hillary or Trump. So the idea of moving to the Green Party is just enabling all of us in mass to show the numbers that would be lost by the Democratic Party if they do not have Bernie as the candidate, and what the risk is of a Trump presidency. And so the reason that the June 19th date was chosen is because it's after all of the Democratic primaries, and because June 19th is Juneteenth, and Juneteenth is the day that the last group of enslaved Americans were told that they are free. And so it's the day of freedom. It's the official day of freedom, the day that America said that freedom is something that belongs to all of us. And so it's a special day and a day of power. And so it's the day, and it falls right after the DC primary, which is the last primary for the Democratic nomination. So, of course, anyone who has any continued elections, any local elections after June 19th, should not change the registration and until after they have voted in whatever those additional elections are. And we can continue to do it over the course of the weeks leading up to the DNC. But to have an initial massive number of people make that change sends a big message. And that's what the point of this is. We would like to see Democrats, Republicans who support Bernie, and independents who support Bernie shift their registration. And it's a way for also those people who voted for Hillary Clinton earlier, before they learned about her treacherous nature, to also be able to voice now their new position. So that's the idea behind the Go Green June 19 campaign. So this is my suggestion. These are the things that I would like for us to further discuss. Tell me what your thoughts are, and let's come together around a unified approach to securing the nomination for the people, and thus the White House for the people. All right? One love, revolution. Let's go.